folks, Mark with the North Florida Bicycle Club, and today we're going to talk a little bit about cadence. So first of all, what is cadence, in case you don't know? So cadence is simply your revolutions per minute. So when you're on your bike and you're turning, how many times do you turn a stroke on there? And the way you find your cadence is through a cadence sensor, or if you have a power meter on your bike. Power meters many times will do that, but a cadence sensor, if you don't know, it's a little device about a little bit bigger than a quarter, smaller than $1/2, and would go on the crank arm of your bike, right up by the pedal with usually a rubber binder. They're anywhere between $15 to $40. I'm not sure about the difference in the quality levels. It's $15, $40, but that will measure and show onto your phone or your biking computer what your cadence is. So the big question becomes, well, what should my cadence be? And I'm going to tell you first, there's not really a right answer, but here's the thing to think about. For most people on flat ground, you're shooting for about 85 to 95 revolutions per minute, or your cadence would be 85 to 95. That's, again, flat ground road bike. Gravel would certainly be different, and that's for most people. And so the reason is it's going to vary by person and by fitness level. So by person, some people like to grind more. By grind, I mean they're slower cadence. That's just how they perform better. Other people are spinners. They like to have a higher cadence. They spin a little bit more. So you might have a personal preference. Your fitness level also matters a little bit, and the type of fitness that you have. So generally speaking, when you have a lower cadence, you're using your muscles more and your heart a little bit less. So if you've got the really strong muscles, but your heart maybe isn't as aerobically fit, you might tend towards a slower cadence. The reverse is true. If maybe your muscles don't have as much, but you've got really good aerobic fitness, you might spin a little bit more. You might be in that higher cadence. But again, generally it is 85 to 95. That is going to vary a lot with what your cadence would be. And finally, there's a big difference between the amateurs and the recreational riders, not the amateurs, the professionals and the recreational riders. The professionals generally have a very tight cadence, not varying much by 2 to 4 on flat grounds. So like 90 to 94 would be an example. I'm not saying that's what they would run, but they usually shift bike a lot if they're professional, because they get to the cadence that they're familiar with and that they're fit with, and they stay in there, whereas the recreational riders tend to have a very wide cadence. So there's a little bit about cadence.